Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's awesome guest is Herschel Buzz Peddicord, who is the founder and CEO of InControl Medical. Now, this is going to be a great show because we talk about incontinence and difficulty having an orgasm. Yep, you heard me right. He has the answer for both of these problems that plague many women worldwide. So let's go and say hello to Herschel. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhige, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Guess what, everyone? My book is out. It is a revised and updated edition of a book I wrote 5 years ago called No Frickin' Way, 21 Days to Ditch the Diet and Lose Weight the Keto Way by Loving Yourself to Health. When I first wrote the original book, I was not a believer in the low-carb movement, but after all the years of research I've done, I am sold out for life. In this book, you will learn about all the lies you have been fed, how to engage in loving self-care, how to eat nourishing foods that provide massive energy, why the ketogenic diet is not a fad, how to heal your body through fasting, why you should move your body to get stronger, and how to create an empowering mindset. Start reading now and finally achieve the high energy and positive body image you deserve. Check it out on Kindle, on Amazon. And if you like it, please leave us a review because this will help more people find it. I really want to inspire people to not deprive themselves, but to nourish themselves with loving self-care and amazingly healthy food so that they can age stronger. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Hey, Herschel, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I have to admit that when I saw the pitch come through, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be a little awkward, but I thought, why not? It sounds fun. So I'm excited to chat with you. And for the listeners that don't know you yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, the full name is Herschel Quentin Peddicord III, but everybody calls me Buzz.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother said when I was little, I was always buzzing around the house and it stuck. So it's a lot easier. It was a lot easier to spell in first grade too than Herschel Quentin III. So I've been in the medical device business for about 40 years. I've started several companies, sold them. And then I was actually, the last company I sold was a telemedicine company. And I went to visit my mother in Mississippi. And she said, well, if you're so damn smart, why don't you come up with a way to keep me from having to get up 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom? And my first thought was too much information, Mom. But anyway. So I went and started researching female urinary incontinence, and it led into female bowel incontinence as well. And the first thing I noticed is it's a huge, huge market. There are a lot of women that have to deal with urinary incontinence every day, a little over 60 million, and another 17 million actually have bowel incontinence issues, and they're not old women either. So I started doing research and said, well, okay, how do we fix this? And I spent almost 2 years talking to doctors, physical therapists, scientists, engineers, learning more about it because frankly, most men don't know much about urinary incontinence. And that's because a lot of women don't ever tell their significant other they even have it. They keep it very private. 70% of women never tell their doctor they have the issue. Well, it makes sense because think about it. When you're 1, 2 years old, your mom's saying, go to the potty. You go to the potty, you got to get potty trained. Don't use the diaper. Don't wet your pants. Now, all of a sudden, you're 35 years old, you've had 2 kids, and you're wetting your pants. It doesn't seem fair at all. So I've looked at the causes of, and if you look at urinary incontinence, there are 2 basic types. There's stress urinary incontinence, which no, doesn't have anything to do with being stressed. It's all about the muscles. You have some muscles in your pelvic floor that hold up your pelvic floor organs. And the number 1 cause of stress incontinence, which is stretching those muscles out, is gestation. 9 months of a baby growing, those muscles have to expand, and they don't just snap back. Well, in the female, urethra goes through those muscles. So normally, if you were to sneeze or cough or laugh, you automatically kind of clench down on those muscles and you prevent the leakage of urine. But if those muscles are very weak, that doesn't work. And next thing you know, you have dribbles. The other second cause is high impact exercise, running. Runners quite frequently have stress urinary incontinence because that bouncing up and down as their feet hit the pavement causes those muscles to stretch out. So the solution to that is strengthen those muscles again. Now, Tracy, to my knowledge, nobody's ever died from urinary incontinence, but it definitely affects women's lives dramatically. So stress incontinence can affect it if you're out with your girlfriends and you're having a few drinks and laughing. The last thing you want to do is have an accident. But worse than stress is called urge incontinence. And it gets its name because you get this sudden urge, I gotta go right now. And that's also caused by a muscle, but it's called the detrusor muscle. You may have heard the expression overactive bladder. Mm-hmm. Well, bladder is not overactive, it's just a vessel that collects urine. But there's a muscle that sits on top of the bladder called the detrusor muscle. And somewhere around age 45, it loses its connection with the brain and decides it's going to squeeze whenever it wants to. You could be out on the highway going 70 miles an hour and your detrusor muscle says, hey, Tracy, it's time to go to the bathroom. And you go, no, not now. Well, it doesn't give you much notice, but different than stress incontinence, the detrusor muscle empties the whole bladder. So instead of a few drops, you get a flood. So to fix urinary incontinence, you have to do 2 things. You have to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles and get them strong again. And you have to calm that detrusor muscle so it doesn't decide to squeeze on its own. So we developed a device that does both. And it looks something like this. So this is our attain device, as if attain dryness, attain quality of life, you know, in any way you want to use attain. And it uses a transvaginal or transrectal, if it's bowel incontinence, probe. It's inserted, let's say, into the vagina, and then it's inflated like that. Now that serves several purposes. On each side of this balloon is a stainless steel, surgical stainless steel electrode. And we emit a neuromuscular stimulation algorithm. One of those algorithms is to strengthen pelvic floor muscles. So it makes your pelvic floor muscles contract and relax. You've heard of Kegel exercises?
Yeah.
The National Institutes of Health say 50% of women don't do them right. Don't do them often enough. Well, we do them for you. So you basically lie there and read a book and let it do its thing. So we have one stimulation that's forcing those muscles to contract, and it's not unpleasant, and I'll get into that more in a little bit. But you're contracting the muscles against the balloon, which acts, when you can squeeze the balloon, obviously you change the pressure inside the balloon because you've changed the size of the balloon. And it pushes back. So this acts as resistance. If you go to the gym and work out, you can go lift a barbell, but if you don't put any weights on it, you're pretty much wasting your time. Because you have to have resistance to build muscles, where the balloon acts as resistance. But it also has a pressure sensor inside, and we're collecting changes in the pressure inside that balloon down to 1/100th of a pound per square inch. Because this is actually that pressure, and the more you can squeeze, is telling you muscle strength. So you can see every day that your muscles are getting stronger. So the first day you may squeeze at 1.2 pounds per square inch. The next day it's 1.3 pounds per square inch. It doesn't take a lot to where your muscles are strong enough to cut off that flow of urine. So that's one of the things it does for stress incontinence. We send a different algorithm out, totally different, to that detrusor muscle, which is right there. The bladder is only this far away. We send a message to the detrusor muscle to calm it, make it relax, so that it's no longer just squeezing on its own and spasming on its own. And over time, which about 90 days, it reestablishes that brain muscle coordination, and you stop having that, I got to get up and go right away, or I got to get up 5 times a night to go to the bathroom. It solves that problem as well. So that's called Attain. That's our #1 product. Any questions on Attain?
A lot.
Okay, fire away.
So is it a passive contraction or an active contraction?
It's an active contraction.
So it just kind of tells you when to contract.
No, well, it does both. In the beginning, it's a 10-minute session once a day. In the first 7 minutes, it's making your muscles contract for you. You just lie back and relax. In the last 3 minutes, it guides you through a set of Kegel exercises, telling you, okay, squeeze, hold it, and it, first squeeze is 3 seconds, then you have a rest period, and next squeeze is 10 seconds, and then you have a rest period. So it goes through individual muscle exercises as well as the device doing it for you.
Okay. And so does it affect both types of incontinence simultaneously, or is it a different setting for each one?
No, it does it simultaneously. The device alternates between algorithms. So the detrusor muscle algorithm won't make your muscles contract, but it will make that up because it's designed to calm muscle, not strengthen it. The one that strengthens then is the next algorithm comes up. So they're alternating back and forth between all the algorithms.
Interesting. So what type would you say? So, okay, I'm 56. My mom is, 78. And she is in like an assisted living type facility, and she has problems. And I mean, a lot at night, like when she's sleeping. Do you have an idea which one of those things that would be?
That's definitely urge urinary incontinence.
So that's the second one. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
She's lost her connection with the brain, the muscle has, and that muscle's just spasming whenever it wants to. And it doesn't give you a lot of warning. It's not saying, well, Tracy, you got 15 minutes, go find a place or McDonald's or whatever and get comfortable. It just says, well, it's time to go. I mean, we've had teachers that had to quit teaching because they couldn't just run out and leave a class by itself to run to the bathroom. ER nurses that had to quit nursing because you can't very well be giving somebody CPR and just say, oh, excuse me, I got to go to the That wouldn't go over well. But no, grandmothers that won't go visit their grandkids because they're afraid they'll have an accident in her children's bed. People that won't go on vacations anymore. Women who stop being intimate with their partners because they're afraid they'll have an accident, which puts a definite dimmer on intimacy. So it's like I said, nobody died from it, but it is definitely changes people's lives. And we guarantee the product. You use it as directed for 90 days. If you're not satisfied with your results, we simply give you your money back.
Okay, well, that seems cool. So you feel like most people see a massive shift, or they notice a definite improvement in 90 days?
Yes.
And how long has it been out?
This particular one came out towards the end of 19.
Oh, okay. So for a couple of years now. Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we've sold over 200,000 of our devices. So.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said devices. Do you have other devices too?
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
Our number one selling device is called Intensity. I was at Northwestern University when we were doing the trials and studies on the incontinence product. And this little old lady, she had to have been early 80s, went in and the doctor said, would you want to come in and see the test? I went, no, I'm good. I'll stay out here in the lobby. She came out about 45 minutes later, smiling and looked very happy. And I went in, the doctor's laughing. I said, what went wrong? You're laughing. He said, oh, nothing went wrong. He said, but you have another product here. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, what do you know about female sexual dysfunction? And I said, well, not much. So what do I mean by sexual dysfunction? Vaginal dryness, for instance. When women reach menopause, some of them have difficulty lubricating. Painful intercourse is a sexual dysfunction. That's where muscles are so tight that intercourse is painful because the muscle won't relax. Well, our device actually teaches muscles to contract and relax, so we can solve that issue. And then the final issue is something called anorgasmia. And anorgasmia means the inability to have an orgasm. And there are roughly 15% of all the women in the United States can't have an orgasm. So he said, go create a product to solve sexual dysfunction. So if you think about it, during female orgasm, the pelvic floor muscles contract and relax. They spasm. That's the part that feels good, is those muscles contracting and relaxing. Well, if you got weak pelvic floor muscles, then it's more of a so not getting much out of it. But if you've got strong muscles, then the orgasm is stronger and it lasts longer. Well, we're making those muscles contract and relax while you're doing your exercises. So we're simulating what happens during orgasm. So that we didn't stop there though. Most people think the female clitoris is only about maybe a 1/4 inch long. It's actually 6 to 8 inches long. Yeah, but most of it's on the inside. So there's a little bit on the outside, and then when it goes on the inside, it splits and it runs down each side of the vaginal vault. Well, where it splits, we put a vibrator. So it's sending vibrations on the inside down each side of the vaginal vault. And then we put one on the outside. So now you have a device that's making your muscles do this, simulating what happens in orgasm, plus you're stimulating the inside of the vaginal vault and the external clitoris. And well, let's put it this way. We had Kinsey Institute give us 30 patients with anorgasmia, and 27 of them can no longer say that.
Wow, 90%.
And it also strengthens the pelvic floor muscles, so it solves stress urinary incontinence, and it tightens and tones everything down there. So now you're understanding why it's our #1 selling product. And it looks like this. It has a pump. It's located in the bottom of the device, right here. And if you push it, the device inflates, just like our other one does. So it makes sure the electrodes are where they're supposed to be. It still has that resistance. So when it's contracting her muscles, it's strengthening the muscles. And this little device goes right up in where the clitoris splits on the inside. And this one goes on the outside. And that result is you get very strong pelvic floor, then kind of enjoy doing it.
Oh my God, I've seen everything now. That's awesome.
And it's we build it right here on the same assembly line as all of our other medical products. And mostly it sells by word of mouth, one woman telling another woman. And like I said, it's our #1 selling device. Also treats stress urinary.
So it's a twofer.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure that our listeners and my email list will get a kick out of that. Wow. And how long has this one been around?
It's been around for 8 years, and we're selling more today than we sold the first year it came out. It just, like I said, word of mouth. If you went to our website and looked at intensity and read reviews, well, let's put it this way, we got probably twice as many reviews that we can't publish because they're a little too graphic for our website.
Ah, okay. So here's an interesting question. So most of my listeners are women around 50. Okay. Just ish. That's my demographic. If you did this as like part of your exercise program, okay, which I'm assuming it's kind of like that, right? How often would you do it for like ideal? And then does it make things better with your partner?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, our #1 selling time of the year is Valentine's Day. Men buying it for their girlfriends, wives, significant others. Yes, it improves relationships for both people.
Okay, cool.
Trying to be very delicate here.
No, it's all good. I don't care. I don't have any more F's to give at this point. I'm too old for worrying about that. I think it's awesome. And I do know that is an issue for many women. I'm just kind of surprised about the bladder leakage part of it, though. I didn't realize that was so popular, or I shouldn't say popular, common.
Prevalent, yeah. Bladder leakage, a little over 60 million women in the US have some type of bladder leakage, and most by pads. Pads don't do anything but absorb urine. And I've yet to meet a woman that says, hey, I really enjoy wearing a wet, smelly pad all day long. Found her yet. Why not cure the problem? It's a simple problem to fix. Then you don't have to spend money on pads. And you don't have to worry if you're out with your girlfriends and have a couple of martinis that you're going to laugh so loud you wet yourself. It's gone. It's fixed.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And how do people get a hold of these? Like because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna put it out to my email list next week. And then how do they sell them in stores? Do you have a website?
We have InControlMedical.com, which explains all of the products in infinite detail. And it really depends You know, if all you have is stress urinary incontinence, intensity will fix that for you, and it'll do it in 30 days. The number one question we get from women is, how often can I use this? A day. And the answer is as often as you'd like. 1 minute, one day, one time a day for 7 minutes will cure the incontinence, but it has some other features as well, as we went through. So it is great for stress urinary incontinence. If you have, like your mom, urge incontinence, then you need the Attain device, and that can take up to 90 days.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if she would use it. I would have to ask her. But do you think that, so for an older person that has memory loss issues,
Like my
is this
mother.
some, okay, cool. How old was your mom when she wanted you to figure all this out?
She was 79. She's now 89.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So it helped her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I am super impressed with this. Have you ever thought of like going to all the senior places or, to do,
The biggest problem we have with nursing homes is getting the staff to assist if necessary. They just don't, they would rather just leave them laying there in a wet diaper and change it once a shift and move on.
I'm actually thinking more like independent or assisted living, not necessarily a nurse.
Independent and assisted, that would be great. And Medicare pays for it, by the way. So if you're on Medicare, then it really doesn't cost you anything.
Wow, that's cool. So do you bill Medicare or do?
No, we bill Medicare direct.
Really?
Yep, and they pay us direct.
Oh, that is awesome. You are doing like a community service with that.
It's important. I believe that if you're going to start a business, there also should be some societal benefit as well. My telemedicine company was able to keep over 100,000 people out of the hospital and out of nursing homes and at home with their loved ones, which is why Honeywell wanted it, and they bought it. So, and we had telemedicine before it was cool. At any rate, you need to have, it's easy to make money, but I don't want to sell pet rocks. I want to sell something that'll benefit people's lives.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm very happy for you to help you get the word out on this because I see how sad it is with my own mother, how she needs it. I guess I'm lucky. I had 3 kids in 3 years. I don't have much problem with that. But I know it's horrible for my mom. So I'm excited to be able to get that in her hands, and then I'll take the other one.
Well, there's nothing, people don't realize the significance of the pelvic floor. I mean, if you don't keep it strong, have you heard of pelvic organ prolapse?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you're going to really love this one, Tracy. That's when muscles get so weak that your vagina, your uterus, and everything starts falling out, literally. So you look down and say, oh, there's my vagina. It's not supposed to. No, it's called pelvic organ prolapse. And if you develop it and you don't do anything, it's a major surgery to get it fixed. But why not just strengthen your whole pelvic floor, and then you don't have to worry about it to begin with?
Wow. So this helps with that.
It helps prevent it, yes.
Okay. So because if it strengthens it, then everything just kind of flows up so it doesn't fall out.
Correct. It stays where it's supposed to be.
So I forgot about that. I have a friend that I think may have that and was talking about getting surgery. Is that something that surgery could be avoided with if they do something
Well,
like this?
it depends on what stage. There's 4 stages of prolapse. In stage 1 or 2, we can stop it in its tracks. If it's 3 or 4, now the internal organs are already protruding from the body, and that requires surgery, unfortunately. And it's
Okay.
significant surgery. It's not an appendix surgery. It's major surgery.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So I'm looking at your website right now, and ladies, you need to go check this out. I see some extra stuff though. It's like accessories and so I see attain, I see intensity. What is apex?
Well, apex is an intensity without the extra features. It's strictly just an automatic pelvic exerciser.
Oh, okay. So it's this almost the same. Okay.
Yeah, but I can tell you they're side to side on our website, and we sell 10 intensities to every one apex we sell.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. After looking at it. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Sex with Emily. Okay, I've heard her before, I think. What a fun little business you have here, Herschel. I'm pretty impressed. So, with parting advice, what would you want to tell the ladies? And how can I support you to get your message out besides, the show and my email list? This is awesome, I have to say.
I would tell ladies especially the ones that, go to the gym once or twice a week because they want to stay buff and healthy, and they eat right and they exercise, they run or they bike. Don't ignore your pelvic floor because it will betray you if you don't take care of it. And next thing you know, you can't run or you can't ride your bike or exercise. People that jump rope. If you don't take care of your pelvic floor muscles, you're going to have a big puddle of water underneath you where you were jumping. And that can be embarrassing. And then 24% of women over the age of 40 have fecal incontinence. Yeah, 4%.
So now is that because of, wait, hold on, I'm looking at is that because of the muscle on the top or the pelvic floor? I guess it would be totally different.
The pelvic floor muscles. There's one muscle, your colon, starts up here at the top and goes through your stomach, and then you hit the colon, it twists and winds around. As it gets near the exit, it has a kink in it. And that kink is caused by something called a puborectalis. And that muscle wraps around the colon and pulls on it so that it has a kink, a curve. Well, that curve, as fecal material comes down the pipe and it hits that curve, it sends a signal to your brain and says, Tracy, we're full. You need to go sit down and get your magazine and get comfortable. We got to go. That muscle gets weak and that curve goes away. Now there's nothing telling the brain. And, okay, got a clear shot out.
Oh, wow. So then they would need the attain device to do that.
The attain device is best for that, and that device then is inserted rectally.
Okay.
But it's actually pretty small. I mean, it's gigantic.
Okay. Well,
We have a lot of men that use it men usually get urinary incontinence because of prostate surgery. And so men don't have a vagina, so they have to use the other opening.
So do men have this problem? Like, what's the ratio? Like 1 to 10?
No, it's over 60 million women, about 7.5 million men.
Wow.
You having them babies will wreck your bottom, so to speak.
Gosh, I guess I got lucky. I had 3 kids in 3 years. So far, so good.
Well, until you have to start paying college tuitions.
Oh gosh, they went to private high school even. So yeah, I've had, at least 2 of them appreciate it. So 2 down, 1 to go. That's awesome. Well, I am super excited to have you on the show. Herschel, this is incredible. I had no idea that this could be fixed, and I'm really excited to. So does the website walk you through, like if I want to order one from my mom with her Medicare, it walks me through all that?
Yeah, with Medicare, you'll have to, we have a Medicare department, and they'll have to send her some paperwork for her physician to fill out.
Okay.
Obviously, she has an issue with incontinence, so they want a doctor to say, yes, she has incontinence, because they don't want us to just go out there and sell to every Medicare patient. I don't know why. But no, it requires a little bit of paperwork, not much. And then the doctor has to send that to us, and then we can ship the product, and then we bill Medicare, and all she has to do is use it. We actually have 2 guarantees. If you use it as directed, it will cure your incontinence. If you don't use it, it won't.
I like that one. That's just like all my health advice. If you don't do it, like, people pay me for my health, my nutrition, fitness advice. My husband could get it for free and he won't listen. So
husbands don't listen.
I
mean, it's pretty much rule number 1.
Yeah, well, he says I'm thin. I don't need to do that. So I'm like, whatever. So anyways, it is a pleasure having you on the show, Herschel. I am super excited to let everybody know about this and to be able to help people, because I've never seen a device like this anywhere.
No, it's unique. And in fact, we're the only FDA cleared at-home, over-the-counter product, cleared product for the treatment of stress, urge, and mixed urinary incontinence. Mixed means you have both stress and urge, and bowel incontinence. We're the only one FDA cleared to do that.
Yeah, I think it's super important for quality of life. And in the end, they're going to save money because they're not going to have to buy all the pads and Depends and all that stuff. So
correct.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure having you. Thank you for honoring us with your time. And I'm excited to really get this out there.
No, it was my honor. I had a great time chatting with you. You're an easy, great conversationalist, and I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, that was absolutely awesome. I am super excited about all this. I know it could be TMI for some people, but for me, I was just all into it. And who could not benefit from one of these devices? So for complete show notes and links and everything, head on over to highenergygirl.com/show. All right, you guys, thank you so much and make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.